in the Tom and Gerry show. Tom, how are you doing?
Uh, I'm feeling irrelevant. Not irrelevant. Irrelevant. I watched a 62-year-old. Again, I've a great time for the Lithuanian lads. Spend 2 days on his hands and knees laying insulation I say he's in his 60s. The man could have been in his 20s, given the rough nature of the job. And I just stood there going, "Would you like tea? Would you like tea? Would you?" He's like, "No, I don't drink tea." I'm like, "Yeah, of course you don't. Of course you don't.
Do you
I'll
want
just
a
walk
pat on the
away."
back? Do you want like a
Well,
fucking? Do you want emotional support? How are you all doing, ladies and gentlemen? You're welcome to the Tom and Gerry show. That is Tom O'Mahony over there. I'm Gerry McBride. Tom is in the middle of building a house. If you're wondering why there are aged Lithuanian men crawling around on their hands and knees in his
I
gaff.
just realized my free shout out. I'm going to shout him out. Free DeWalt. These are mighty. These goggles come sunglasses. They stay up there all the time, and I don't even remember them. And then when I have some horrible stuff to do with a grinder or something, flick them down. I didn't realize there's only of the age of that we're at now that where I have to think about health and safety, Gerry. I hadn't thought about it before then. I would just squint when sparky things or stony things are flying at my face. Who knew? Goggles.
I've been, as I've told you, Tom, I've been a big fan of health and safety for some time. You mocked me for it, and here you are protecting your eyes
I,
against flying hot metal, you
it's 20,
baby.
it's 2024, Gerry. I'm a new man. What can I say? I'm a new man. I'm
What can
drinking
we say?
actual Fanta, not fake, actual Fanta, but I didn't buy it. So let's look. I'm feeling okay. How are you keeping is the most important thing. You look good.
I'm damn good. I'm damn good. We had a great week with the Tom and Jerry social media crowd. We're going to get onto them later on. But
Brilliant.
before that, we're going to get into the show proper. All right. We're going to get into the show proper because we have a lot to get through. Big week, Tom. Big week. Lots of stuff happening.
Oh
There
my
are
God.
weeks that you and I struggle to fill the show.
Well, now
Struggle to fill the meager 45 minutes that the
not
Tom
to
and
do
Jerry
as a
show.
not to do as a disservice, Ger. There are certain criteria that has to fit the Tom and Jerry show.
Yes,
God,
of
you could
course.
talk about the drivel of the earth that is going on at the minute. Like they just discovered Alexander the Great. If anybody watched it on Netflix, it's a great thing. If you enjoyed the Roman Empire stuff, it's a great thing to watch. But they just discovered. But would we talk about that? Nah, because
No,
it's no
no.
crack. It's
Who
no
cares?
crack. Who cares?
We
But
want to bring you guys the best content that we can find at 7:30 of a Monday evening.
honesty is the best policy, Jerry. That's what I say. Yeah, you're dead right. Yeah.
And I kid. In actual fact, Tom, we were recording this out of step. We're recording this on a Tuesday evening for a reason that will become apparent now once we get into the first segment, which is when we talk about the big news of the week, Tom, the scuttlebutt, the rip-roaring gossip, the scandal, the ska, the weekly what have you.
This is a very complicated case, Maud. You know, a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous, and a lot of strands to keep in my head, man. You know.
Oh, I mean, again, there's any amount. And I didn't want to push you as to why you kicked me to the curb last night. But it would seem you're going to tell us in some shape, or form.
Do you know, I had reasons that were not Tom and Jerry affiliated, but at the same time it worked out for us, Tom, because as we record now on Tuesday night, there was an announcement this morning at 8 a.m. that had been flag posted yesterday, Monday,
Mm.
that Oasis were going to make an announcement at 8 a.m. on Sunday. And I said, Tom, you know what? Let's hold off until Tuesday and see what that announcement is. Because if it's the guys going back on tour, that's worth talking about with the weekly, what have you. If it's a release of a 30th anniversary gold plated edition of Definitely Maybe, which it could very well have been, then we would have been hustling for content here, I
Damn right
gotta
we
tell you.
would.
But no, the former is true. Oasis, Tom, back in action. And before we put a Tom and Jerry spin on it, let me ask you a question. Oasis, your thoughts?
Me or the people?
Yeah, you. The Tom of
You
Tom and Jerry.
you kind of looked beyond me there into the middle distance. I was like, who is he talking? What? Yes. To be fair, I can't. They did an
Sorry, Tom.
amazing thing. What? What? I know it's a
I'm going crazy
podcast.
here. That was a real, like, who you talking to me? There's no one else here. No,
Yeah,
it's
it was.
literally just you.
I've lost my mind, Jerry. I've lost it. So there'll be more of this kind of stuff. If you want to hear a man falling apart, ribbon by ribbon, mentally and physically, just stay tuned to the Tom and Jerry show because I'm on by my
Because here it
fingernails here,
comes.
Jerry. Oasis.
All right,
I,
let me rephrase it, Tom. Your thoughts on Oasis, the band, please, Tom O'Mahony. Take it away.
Now you're just being facetious. You know what?
There
I don't not hate him. I don't not hate him at all.
you
Um,
go.
it's
That's a good place to start, I'll tell you.
it's kind of like Christy Moore. If they come on the radio, I'll be like, all right, okay. Um, as music level, they have bangers. They have bangers throughout. There's ones where you kind of go, like Champagne Supernova. You go, yeah, all day long. Wonderwall. I mean,
Yeah.
it became an international meme of, the bollocks at a house
An
party.
anthem. Yeah.
But the bollocks at a house party, like, and everybody's
Oh, yeah,
giving
yeah,
it a
yeah,
go
yeah.
at some
Everybody can
stage. Like,
sing Wonderwall, yeah.
but you have to have something with the other. You can't just be like Prince would have been amazing being Prince, but he would never have been Prince if he would, if he looked like Noel Edmonds. Do you know, like, or he behaved like, a regular Joe. You have to have the rock star, and they were the
You have to,
last.
yeah.
In fairness, they were the last rock stars. Now there's been some sit-ins, but you can't take it away from either one of them,
No.
especially like Liam, true rock star. You
A
know,
true rock star.
gruff, like Ave, invented his own walk, invented his own style of everything. Horrendous, mod haircut, like, and
Not not in possession of huge amounts of what anyone would call talent.
no, that's what you see. That's what I think. There's things about when you look at, like, again, you look at Prince, you go, oh, nobody could. There'll never be another one. You could never do that again. That's
Right.
never. But when you look at Gallagher, there's an attainability about him because you're like, ah, he's just a normal looking fella. Like,
Just giving it a go.
in a lot of ways, you go marginally ugly, but in some ways, you go, okay, maybe some people. And he's an all right singer. He's an
Hey, do
interesting
you know what I'm
singer.
going to tell you?
He's an
Nobody
interesting
can
singer.
sing. I'll tell you this: nobody can sing like Liam Gallagher.
No,
But that
no.
doesn't mean to say Liam Gallagher can sing. How about that? Is that fair?
There you go. There you
Is
go.
that
And
fair?
there are singers out there that, it's art. It's all interpretive. But does he have to be able to hit the high notes like, Bruno Mars? No, no. But
No.
he had that, that aggressive kind of Avenue style where he had the microphone up way too high, turn it down to
Way
himself,
too high.
hands behind his back, like almost almost like calling the microphone out, like,
Possibly
take a
under
swing.
the influence of
Oh,
something.
for sure. Listen, 100%. And they came out with outlandish things. I remember an interview with Noel after, was it some night out or some bash or some do. I was like, how are you feeling this evening? I've got 87 million pounds in the bank, and I've just took charge of a rare Jaguar, and I've got my own house, and I'm in the best rock band in the world. So, I'm fucking having it, and you're like, okay. A lot of
Fair
people
enough.
are humble at these times, but no, and
No.
and then they back it up by just packing every place. And I, I would, it would be one of the bands I would take out of the '90s with me and go, yep, Red Hot Chili Peppers and Ye, yep,
There you go. I
I
mean,
can dig.
I fell in with Oasis with the first two albums because again we grew up, Tom, at the fulcrum of the universe in the 80s to 90s. So
Oh,
the
there was a
first
whole
couple of albums from
Blur
Oasis, I was
Oasis
like,
thing, yeah.
yeah, that whole Britpop thing, very much loved them. Never went to see them live because by the time the third album came out, I was gone off it. I was like, not just gone off Oasis. I wasn't like really listening to music at all.
Yeah.
So I never went to see them live. And God damn it, Tom, I'll tell you now, this is where we'll get into the Tom and Gerry of it. Yeah, if you want to know about the Gallagher brothers, look them up. I'm pretty sure you'll not have to look long and hard for their accomplishments and all this kind of thing. And I'll tell you what's better again. I will say this much. Anyone that was under the notion that they were never going to get back together and have some multi-million
Oh my God.
pound tour, forget about it. I have a bridge to tell you. That this was always in the cards. It
A
comes as no surprise to me.
100% it was on the cards because they dragged it out and they dragged it out. Well, I mean, if he wants to talk to me and I want to talk to him, he's doing his own thing. Our kid, he's doing her own thing. Our kid. You're like, oh,
Yeah,
you're
I don't know.
definitely,
There's
you had
definitely, and I'd say, Tom, no harm in 10
definitely
years.
maybe.
Definitely, maybe in 10 years, we'd be sick looking at the fuckers, truth be
Yeah.
known. Like,
Yeah.
they'll be toured. Anyway, here's the thing, Tom. I might go and see them in Croke Park. Okay?
Okay.
But to do that, Sounds to me like you could be talking to going to see
I
them in Croke
could,
Park as well.
actually. Yeah, I could.
To do that, here's what we're going to talk about for the weekly what have you. To do that, we have to buy tickets. And that doesn't seem to be all that easy anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Because the amount of times I get asked, you don't know anyone with the tickets, do you, or whatever, because for whatever reason, people think like the 3 times I was on television that I have the inside track to MCD. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, I don't. I'm afraid I don't. But
But I'm going to tell you, okay, so tickets go on sale for Oasis at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. If you're listening to this on Thursday, you're probably in the queue already. But what you and I grew up with was queuing at the local news agents the
yeah,
morning tickets went on sale.
yeah.
For me, it was the local sports shop. I don't know how if it was for you, but for some reason, the local sports shop was also a ticket master. Declan Lockman Sports, if anybody's in the Monaghan area, that's where you bought tickets to go see concerts.
I'm
And you
trying.
queued up at 7:30 or whatever it was in the morning, and there was a line of boys and the doors open, and you walked in and you bought them like you were buying cigarettes. You went up to the till and said, 4 tickets, please. You printed them out and gave it to them to you, and you gave them £100 or whatever it was.
Very handy if you were buying cigarettes at the same time. You know what I mean? You're getting cigarettes and
Well,
your
this is it.
tickets.
Well, this
Keep
was a
going.
sports shop, so you could be buying like shuttlecocks and devil knows what.
I,
I'm
I'm
sure
trying.
something like that happened in your town as
I'm
well.
trying to think, and yeah, I think I'm nearly sure. Was it a sports shop or a petrol station? I'm nearly sure it was somebody's
Could have
petrol
been a petrol
station.
station.
I'm nearly
I'll
sure
tell
it
you what might
was.
sound familiar to you as well, Tom. This might sound familiar. Uh, Private bus companies.
Yeah,
So if there was a local private bus company that would just run buses to bingo and things like this, they would have packages that they would take you to Slane. So a ticket and your bus to Slane for X amount.
yeah,
And that was it to get you there and back again. Or indeed the day trip to Tip. A ticket to Tip and that. But you went to a place and you physically bought a ticket.
yeah.
Okay. The notion that I only remember very certain things like U2 Pop Mart. I remember that sold out in an hour. And that was big noise that, oh my God, these tickets sold out in an hour.
Yeah.
I guess they were just really printing them off in Castleblaney. But now that it's all gone online, here's the thing, Tom. I have no idea how I'm going to get tickets on Saturday morning, except for the luck of fools.
That's it. And that's all it comes down to, Jer. That's all it comes down to. I'm sure some queue tours out there have worked out a physical, an algorithm that they can hack in some which way and get ahead in a queue. I'm sure somebody has. But it's the luck of the draw. And there's almost no, it's nearly like getting, it's like winning a fight without getting in a fight. Do you know that kind of way?
Right?
There's no prize. It's like getting, I got the Kinder Egg, but it's just the thing is already made inside it. It's like, oh, Jesus.
Do you know
Okay.
what I'm going to tell you as well, Tom? There's another thing that I just don't understand, cannot understand for the sake of my life. And this is not a new thing. This is going back maybe 20 years now at this stage, at least 10.
Yeah.
One of those, Tom, 10 or 20 years. I know that's quite the swing. Pre-sales.
Pre-sales.
Where there's a pre-sale for a
Yeah.
concert. So say if there's a big concert and you're with 3 on the network, that you get pre-sale codes that you get first dibs at tickets, right? So how there's tickets left for anybody the next day, I'll never know, because if that's the 3 arena you're selling out, that only holds like what, 12, 15,000 maybe?
They must do it. Yeah. Well, they must only allot it. And again, it must be a lottery system to your phone. If I knew more about these things, I wish I did. But the reality is they have their their numbers totted up, right? Everything is leaning towards the ticket seller. They like
Yes.
I think the day of it being a fair gambit throughout
Of
the
it being a
country,
fair
that's
one-on-one, yeah.
gone. Because
Well,
they must
to use your fight analogy, Tom, if this is indeed a fight, then the pre-sale code is like, hey, you're with Vodafone. Do you want to give him 3 free tumps before he even gets his hands out of his pockets?
Yeah.
Like, who would turn that down? And how would you win otherwise? That you're going to get 3 good heavy deadeners to the back of the neck before you even,
Well, that's yeah.
get a swing at a lad.
And I mean, and you saw like the craze of the likes of when Garth Brooks was selling back, and
Yes.
part of the documentary. I don't know if did you see it on Netflix, whatever. It was a bit soppy, fairly American, you know yourself. But they went
That's
to
Garth for
Ireland.
you.
they went to Ireland and people were out in the pissings of rain. They had tents, they had all sorts around the corner. And there was kind of that in itself was nearly an event. You know, the kind of way it was like, well,
Yes.
we're going up to, and we're going waiting out for our tickets when he finally got them or whatever. And the online thing, in the weird way they've worked it out, is like, oh, but also they can unashamedly crank at the price of a ticket, like Taylor, whatchamacallit's, 700 and 800 euros a ticket. And then like, well, it is what it is. It's online, suck it, you know. Whereas
Yeah.
they know face to face, you couldn't ask somebody for 700 quid in over a little booth in Stephen's Green Shopping Centre or wherever your ticket
Not
might
without a
be.
mask on.
You couldn't, like, you couldn't, but you can do it online. You can unashamedly go, well, it is what it is. And then you have the likes of StubHub and these, you know, who hang around just hawking tickets afterwards, like go, you know, they clean up a few and then just wait till they're all gone and then go, well,
Yeah.
look at
There you
this.
go.
Yeah.
Here's the thing as well. Like it's if I okay, so say I wake up and tickets go on sale at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning,
Mm-hmm.
and by all means, Oasis fans, play along this Saturday, okay? It's gonna look like this, all right? I don't get an opportunity to go in and say, let me peruse the venue. Where would I like to sit? What's my price range? How much are these seats against these seats? Will I take this seat here for 90 euro or this seat here for 120? How much is it? Okay. Now I've done the sums here. I'm going to take two seats in this stand and it's going to cost me X, Y, Z. Okay, yes, they're gone.
Gone.
They're gone.
And
There's no fucking around, Tom.
that's
You get
where
in and you get the first two seats that you can grab hands on, and that's it.
that's the
Rip it
rub.
and rip it.
That's the rub, Ger. That's what it is. It's like they know people will come busting through the gates like a bunch of those bulls in Pampaloma and ready to
Yeah.
shit in their hands and clap just to get their hands on whatever ticket they can get their hands on. And again, if there was time to do it and they were, doing a lot, seating and all the rest of it, like you said, people might go for, they don't care. That means they can crank an extra 10% in every ticket because people
Yeah.
bust in to the internet with an
That is
absolute
it.
frothing at the ears to get their hands on a ticket. And that's where the rub is. They're like, we got to pay for an actual ticket stall and vendors and all that bullshit. No, we'll just let
I'll
these
give you a better one.
savages just jump into the vat of lava that is their ticket system, and they'll hope for the best and be delighted when
And
we
hope for
absolutely
the
rinse
best,
them.
because I'll tell you this much, Tom, okay? I said there you might not get to pick the the seat that you want. You're not going to get the seat that you want. You're not going to get to pick the stand that you want. Tom, Oasis are playing 2 nights. You might have no say as to what night you go.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
I want two tickets, and this has become like the dance that people have. That if one person wants tickets, if I, Gerry McBride, want tickets, I'll log on. My wife will log on. I'll log on my laptop on my phone. She'll log on her laptop on her phone. That's four devices trying to get two tickets. And maybe in desperate times we might ask a sister-in-law or something like that to try as well. There are people that I remember for Taylor Swift, those people like, and I had the whole family logging on at
Oh,
one time to get it.
Jesus.
Tom, this is madness. This is unsustainable.
This is why I have banned music in our house. My son doesn't even know it exists. So you'll have no early onset of music love for these moments of madness. I did like how they announced it though. There was a cheekiness to that, how they teased it out like with an old picture, and
Yes.
that heavy boss style text behind that would have said something like it would have said their name, but they put a date into it. It's like, ooh, this is very conspiracy theorist, isn't it? Isn't this very
Well,
interesting
do you
how they
know,
stuck that there?
it's amazing, like the fact that the Oasis brothers apparently have put aside their differences to come together
For
because
about
they just
150
want
million.
to
Yeah,
share
yeah.
the love of music and make millions of pounds off it as well. And they released a photo of the two of them, and it's photoshopped. They're not even in the same room. So best of luck to them making the August 17th and
Here,
18th
the Eagles
concerts.
literally abuse each other between choruses. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And yet they can still do Hotel California and pack out whatever stadium they want. I tell you now, when you get money men involved in these two, they will tranquilize whoever they got to tranquilize and pull
To get
strings
yes,
and
yes,
get
yes,
literally
yes.
pull strings from the rafters to get these two
They
bastards
they
to
they, they
play
will
ball.
have they will have a perspex sheet down the middle of the stage to
Ye-
stop them from. Yeah.
I just imagine. I don't know if you ever saw the program, and well, like no doubt you have Steptoe and Son, where
Yes.
they had the falling out and they divided the whole house with plywood, and even the
Yeah.
telly was split down the middle. It's just,
Do you know what I'm gonna? Do you know what I'm gonna tell you, Tom? It's the first time like it's gonna be a Blues Brothers style gig, but instead of having like chicken wire between the stage and the audience, they're gonna have chicken wire down the middle of the stage to keep the two brothers apart.
I don't know how much all of that rowing was.
I think
Neither.
it could be. It's all a bit pro wrestling now. It's all a
It
little bit
is
mediocrity, I think.
yeah, and the kayfabe will come,
Played
yeah,
into.
some days
Yeah,
because they
yeah,
could
yeah.
never give specifics on what the issue was. It was like, well, our kid, and I was back and forth, and there was never a specifics. Noel was like, oh, I'd make up with him if I could. It was just him, and he's like, oh, you know, oh, it's just, and
Well,
I think there was a great story of the two of them drinking in Mayo. Did you ever hear that one at a wedding?
no, go on.
We stayed at
We'll
this
we'll
whole.
we'll, wrap up the segment with
We,
this one, Tom. Go on.
they stayed at the hotel that we went to on our honeymoon. Downstairs, the basement part, kooky guy owns it. There's strange things like all sorts hanging from the ceiling in the way of a blowfish, or maybe like there might be an anchor or whatever. And
Right.
crazy place. They were there, and it was a cousin's wedding because their cousins are all from Mayo, and Steve Coogan, whose family are from Mayo as well, was there
Yes.
at it. And they were on the sesh hard, the two boys
Nice.
and Coogan and all the Mayo lads, and the Mayo boys Oasis were at the pump, and they were like, "Go on, sing us a song, will you? Go on, sing us Wonderwall." He's like, "Oh, fuck off, not singing." And he goes, Oasis are shit, fuck you. You know what I mean? They were giving him no. And Coogan went, "Well, I'll sing." And he sang like a Frank Sinatra song. Brilliant singer. They all thought he was the bee's knees, and the night went wild, and they had drunk and shirts off the whole lot. And it was the following morning that Liam was in bed. He woke up, and it was like a lump of a body underneath. Oh, Jesus Christ, what am I after bringing up here now? Who is this? What did I do? Oh, God. Next thing, a knock came from housekeeping because he went, the paparazzi are going to catch this. Oh, my
Yeah.
God, I'm a dead man. This is just, oh, God almighty. And just as, as house, no, house keeping knocked, Coogan sits up bolt right in the bed and he goes, aha! Like, still Alan Partridge, like what a fucking legend. And that was it was his telling of it was very good that even he had to roar laughing, and Gallagher didn't do
Very
much
good.
laughing, but even he went, oh, Jesus Christ, that's brilliant. Back on it
Oh,
again.
Tom, those lads. If you
Those.
are indeed going to see those lads, folks, let us know if you have any tickets because we could be here on next week's episode asking, do you have any tickets? Or we could
Yes.
have tickets ourselves. Let's find out. But that's those lads. They were nearly these lads. These lads being this lad, but they didn't make it for this lad this week. Section 2 requires a lad that's so this lad. It surpasses all other lads. And I got to tell you, the Gallagher brothers nearly made it into this lad of this week. But no, we saved this segment for this lad.
Now there's that guy.
I knew this lad obviously because it's your life knows about this guy. It is a course.
Exactly.
We went with Robert F. Kennedy, Bobby F. Kennedy, as he's affectionately known, it would seem. And he was an independent up until very recently. He was in. I think he's suspended.
That's what has him in the news this
Um,
week. He has given up his candidacy for the U.S. presidency, and that has put him into the news and put him into our headlights
yeah.
as this lad.
Like again, I don't care about our politics. I don't, and especially don't care about American politics. But I found him interesting because he spoke with such a wild voice. I was like, what is happening here? By all accounts, I looked it up. He said he just woke up one day and it just got bad, and he's had a titanium
Yes.
thing put in his throat to see can he do better. But I like how he sounds. I worked with a fella who sounded like that. His were Rolly Tobacco related.
I mean,
A
this
full
is it.
a full packet of Old Holborn in a day would do that to you. But yeah, he made it into this lad, and
That's Woodbines for you.
I knew he was in, a kind of a wild country fella for a Kennedy. It didn't make sense. And then you started sending me on stuff. I was like, what? What?
The,
So he,
like, here's the thing, okay? Yeah, Tom's right. He is a politician. He gave up his independent candidacy because,
wait,
the
he was
cold hard light of day, what was it going to do for him?
nothing, because he was getting boxed out, it would seem. It was like, sure, of course you're getting
Yeah.
boxed out. You can't be an independent and go up against those two parties in a
No.
two-party system. You're having to prayer.
And
Like,
he bent the knee to Trump. May his God go with him. Let's see how that works out in November. Any American listeners to the Tom and Jerry show? Vote how you will.
God do.
And he's a Kennedy at the back of it all, Tom.
Yeah.
And we're talking like of the John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedys, Kennedys.
Yeah, not adjacent, married
No.
in like Schwarzenegger or something like, or I used to, mow their cat or anything. He's actually like his father assassinated, his uncle assassinated famously.
Yes.
He didn't initially go into politics. He was an environmental lawyer for the longest time. And then, but I knew he was into like ravens and falcons and stuff like that. And he was into,
Well, here, don't bury the lead there just yet, Tom.
yeah. No, I'm not.
We're going to hit
I'm
on the
not.
people here now. We're going to hit on the people here now. Just give you an idea of some of the criteria that we put this lad up to, okay? You got to do something in particular that really pops you on the news to get you into the category of this lad.
Yeah, exactly.
And what Tom is about to tell you, of the 3 stories that he's about to tell you, any one of these, any one of them would have made him this lad, a gold star, this lad.
Yeah.
And he's got 3 of them in 1 week.
He's got 3 of them. He's got like a
And
man. We're not going to go into his whole life because, my God, that's an interesting life.
Yeah.
But
let's get into it, Tom. Let's get into it.
We'll go with the first one. Anyway, he essentially, I think he must have been on a podcast or something with Roseanne, the stand-up / actor Roseanne Barr.
Yes.
And he said, it just came up about a dead bear cub in Central Park.
Yes.
And she was like, what now? He's like, well, Jesus
Yeah, it
Christ.
must be stressed, Tom. Nobody asked him, Robert, what's your take on bear roadkill? Out of curiosity. No, he was just like on a down period, started talking about it.
He was, on a down period. So he I guess he just figured I better tell an interesting story here. So here he was, as tipping along. He was heading off to take some people falconing. Do you know?
Yes.
And
millionaires' kids, Tom. What can I say?
Exactly. This is it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a falconer. But he came across on the side of the road a bear cub that had been hit by a car. And so, of course, he pulled over and picked him up, put him in the back of the van. He said he was in good nick. He was going to skin him because the meat, he reckoned, would be top of the pops. Now, apparently, I don't know, Ger. I once picked up a pheasant with the same notion. I put him back down fairly quickly. I won't lie. Because
yes,
he was riper than because he looked perfect. And,
yes.
I went, well,
I'm pretty sure if something's been killed on the road, you've got a window.
Yeah, you do have a window. You do have a window. And I thought I had it. I was there. And it took me a good 5 minutes to realize window had been closed. I went, not worth it. Not worth it.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing old Babbo had figured he was in, old Winnie the Pooh was in good nick enough. And he's basically said, I chucked him in the back because he's good condition. He says, I was going to skin him and use the meat and put him in my refrigerator. He's an environmental man. Jerry, he don't like waste.
I mean, I can't mock him for picking up a dead bear and then go on to be a fan of nose to tail eating.
Yeah.
But it's strange to me, Tom.
But he got held up, Ger, in the busy New York State carry-on. Busy day of falconry. Thought he'd be in the boot the finest. And before he knew it, he was heading back for a dinner at a steakhouse in New York and dropped these people off. The day dragged on. And then he had to go to the airport, and the bear was in the back of the car after the dinner. And he's like,
look, Tom,
he's gone. He's gone, I think.
We've all had ice cream melt on the way back from the shop.
This is the thing. I went to the glove compartment of the car the other day looking for, in my insanity, in the height of summer, albeit an Irish summer, a twirl. And I won't lie, Ger, I could have drank it.
Yeah.
I didn't drink it. Now, had I a Capri Sun straw and poked it in, I think it would have been a new invention.
Would have been in danger.
But I don't think he could stick a straw into this bear, Ger.
No. If he could have, he absolutely would have.
I think he probably would have. Now, as it just so happened, in the same car, the same day, he had an owl bike that somebody asked him, any chance while you're at it, Bob, would you get rid of that? He says, I will. Sure, I'm going falconing. Sure, of course I'll
find a lot of things have to line up for this story, Tom.
Of course I will. Now, he had the bike in. He had a couple of people in the car with him at the time. He had a stinking bear in the back, and they're driving through New York City. And he says, no, I wasn't drinking. But the rest of the lads thought it was a good idea. So what he did was, he took the bike out and the bear in alongside a kind of a cycle lane in Central Park. Because where else would you find a, a a possible bear and a cyclist in the same place in New York on your way to the airport? Um, but it was tried to claim like it was a hit and run, like the person hit it with his bike, hit a
And
bear,
then,
a
yes.
44-pound bear. Ger, I guarantee you that car only just about killed him. I can tell you now,
I mean,
no
like,
bike on the planet is going to kill a bear of any
I,
age.
it, I will say, Tom, if nothing else, this story adds fuel to the fire that bears ain't shit.
Yeah.
All right?
Look over my head right now. You see
Yeah,
it. I'm not shy about it. I've
I
got a
see it.
bear's head hanging there. Okay, it's a teddy bear's head, but it's a
But
bear's
still,
head. You're right. They
still
ain't
enough.
shit. They ain't shit. And this is just,
Bears ain't shit. Here's the thing with crazy Tom, okay?
yeah,
Like anybody can be crazy, right?
yeah.
But for you to be like proper, you know, transcendent crazy, you have to make non-crazy people question themselves.
Yeah.
Not make us question you. I'm not questioning Robert Kennedy there. I'm questioning what I know about the world. And that's like next level this lad crazy, okay? Because right now all I'm thinking of is, are there bears in Central Park? Would there naturally be a bear in Central
That's
Park?
exactly what I was saying with the bike situation. Bike, yes.
Bear,
Bears,
no.
no. I'm going to go out on a limb. And I'm not Googling it because that's no crack. I'd like
No,
ye
that's no
as the
crack.
listeners to tell us, I've been in Central Park, you've been in Central Park, Ger. I don't think there's space for bears.
I
Just
don't
putting
think
it
there's
out
just
there.
a. I don't think they would allow a bear to just roam around Central
Here,
Park.
here's
You
the
hit
thing.
it with a bike, number one.
Bears are typically only where there's grub to be had. Other than
Right.
eating a couple of poor old devils who are down their luck, I don't think. I mean, I know natural selection is a thing that people are talking about bringing back the wolves here in Ireland and stuff like that, but I don't think they're going to let bears into Central Park, New York City, New York State. I just don't
Do you
see it, Jar. I don't
do
see
you
it.
see what we're doing here now? Like, we're not on about Bob Kennedy loading a bear into the back of his car and driving around like a mad bastard because he was going to chop it up for fucking bear steaks. We're here going like, where does a bear hang out? Do you see what he's done to us, Tom?
Yeah, yeah. He's
That's
he's
that's
he's kind of
that's this lad worthy. You know what I mean? That's
it.
how you do it.
It is. It.
You drive sane people crazy.
Now wonder. I mean, I've had lads in the car. We've all had lads in the car to make
Yes.
suggestions about things, and you're like, oh, for the love of
Yes.
jeez, I'm not. And you'll take a back road because one fella swore that it was a shortcut, and before you know it,
Yes.
you've lost the bumper on a inside in a pothole, and you're going, well, fuck you anyway. Now I'd never, and I've been in some weird scenarios, and I don't know if I became super famous and in politics, would they find anything as wild as this lad? Because again, I don't think it's because I'm not. I just wouldn't have ended up there because I wasn't born a millionaire's child. I wouldn't be
Oh, well,
falconing for
this is
one.
it too.
Very
Also, it's
rarely.
also it's baffling. Like, a millionaire's child never wanted for money in his life. Could buy bears, Tom. Could buy all the bears he wanted. And you don't have to pick up dead bears elsewhere. But you know what
I'm
I'm going
not.
to tell you?
I'm not holding the bear bit against him at all. Against the picking up the dead bear. I'm actually not one bit. Even though people are probably thinking that that's the crux of the story. For me, it's the bear in
Staged
Central
hit and
Park,
run.
the staged hit in park,
Yeah.
the diorama that he allowed the rest of the people in the car to convince him that it was a good idea, and then he went, "Yeah, sure, look it."
I'll come to find out, Tom. There was nobody in the car with him, and he just did it himself.
Very easily, very
All
easily.
right, Tom. That's one story.
One story. Now, this, I mean, it could be
That's a
attributed
7 on the fruit machine. Let's see if we get 2 more.
for sure. I think there's one coming. Now, this could be maybe this could attribute to why he was at that kind of carry on. I mean, there had been reports that he ate a dog one time, but he said it wasn't. It was a goat.
Right, fair enough.
This was in around the
We've
time
been
that
there.
yeah, sure. Look at this is in around the time that he said he got a brain parasite, a brain worm, which I way
Yes.
prefer, other than a brain parasite or a cerebral parasite. I way prefer the term brain worm, because I just imagine a worm with glasses being really smart and a book going around the inside of your
Oh,
head.
like a bookworm. Oh, like a
Yeah,
worm sticking out of an apple. Like, how you
yeah.
doing?
And every so often he comes out of your ear going, I think you'll find, and he corrects you.
Oh,
a, real, a real pedantic bollocks of a worm going, fuck, he is right all the time. Actually, if I had fingers, I'd put. I don't know how he's holding the book either, Jar. I don't
Well,
know.
his tail holds the book.
Or maybe he's
Like his
Earthworm
tail, if you
Jim. He's
imagine,
inside in
flips
a
around
suit.
and
He's inside in the
yeah,
metal suit. Yeah, Earthworm Jim. That's what
yeah.
he is inside my head. So he claimed anyway he was getting blackouts. He was getting dizzy. We've all been there. We've all been there. I know an ex-pro wrestler who giant haystacks dropped him on his head, and for 2 years that's where he was. But as it turns out, it was just a big dent in
Yes.
his skull, and he could attribute it right to that moment where in Manchester he dropped him on his head outside the ring. Turns out old Bobby went, and I don't know what scan now. I don't know what scan you'd go for, but he went for a scan and they discovered he had a bit of a worm inside his head. Now we've
Well,
all
see, here's
heard
the thing.
the phrase to earwig, to
Yes.
you've heard of tapeworms and stuff. I've never
Yes.
heard of one.
I
I
like.
stand to be corrected too, by the way. I'm just throwing this out there because it's one of the best sounding things I've ever heard, that he'd a brain worm.
I have heard of brain parasites
Have
and
you?
and blood parasites and intestinal parasites, which would be
Yeah.
the more common ones. That's the ones that you would hear about, that you would, and you could understand that you ate something that had parasites in it and such like. Now, the brain parasites, Tom, if the man had brain parasites, very sorry, that's a serious thing. He says that they ate a part of his brain.
Num num.
Okay, not sure that's how it works, but all right. I'm willing to be schooled on brain parasites. Number three, it said it left him with significant short-term memory loss and not quite problematic yet long-term memory loss, but long-term memory loss of some degree. And he said all this while being interviewed for his suitability for a presidential role.
But do you know what, though? I, and again, I'm never getting into politics, but when you compare the competition at the time, you
Well,
could
I mean,
kind of
this is
go,
it too.
all right,
But
all
it's
right.
almost like and it's almost like he
Was he
turned
trying
around
to
and go
fit
like,
in with the boys? The two
I think
fucking
that's what he
idiots
was trying
now.
to do. He was like, well, that guy is old as fuck, and that guy can't lay straight in bed. And in honor of all that, in the spirit of all that, half my brain has been chomped by Earthworm Jim,
Exactly.
and I
I.
wake up with stuff leaking out of my ears.
Do you know what?
And
I'm
he said
quite.
all this, Tom, unprompted, unprompted. Someone said, "How was your day, Rob?" Oh, well, I'll tell you, since I got that brain parasite, every day has been a wake in hell.
Do you know what? I genuinely think you can't get into American politics without being a mad bastard. Do you know what I mean? And coming out with mad shit. Or our politicians are so boring in comparison. Like they don't come out, like they come out with clangers, but it's like, Jesus Christ. You could literally make a TV show around any one of them you pick. Because they've all come out with absolute show-stopping headlines. You're like, Jesus Christ. And then old Bobby's like, yeah, half a brain.
Um,
I've half a brain, lads. Ah,
yeah,
Jesus, we're all
it
going
was
to
ate by a
heaven.
worm.
Wait.
Possibly ate by a worm, possibly by eating meat that I found on the road, which I also do, not for nothing. But this third story, Tom, hit me with this third one, okay? Because this one, I think, I don't know if top it is the right word
Oh,
to say.
top of this is absolutely, it's head and shoulders above it, yours, if nothing else. So the daughter was being interviewed, and there's
Yes.
nothing worse. You see it, kids, they shame the life out of you. You know it yourself. They'll say things like, I remember sitting in a hotel one morning, hungover after doing a gig. I don't know whether it was out of West of Ireland, and I heard a family behind us, and the woman came over to feed them or give them their breakfast, take their breakfast order, and the 3-year-old turned around and went, "Daddy pissed in the bath."
Yeah.
The man nearly died like he didn't. You just knew by his reaction. But this kid was like, "I'm just gonna fuck."
Yeah.
I was gonna say it because maybe he ran the bath and it sounded like wee wee, and now I'm gonna. He just said it out as loud as everybody can hear. And like, well, kids say the darndest things. Well, his kid,
Kids said the darnest thing. Well, what did Robert F. Kennedy's child say about him? A
young.
child, a grown adult.
Oh,
Nothing,
she is.
nothing.
She's a grown adult. Kathleen Alexandra Kennedy, otherwise known as Kick. Um, She was chatting no, this is a few years back. This is 2012. She was in Town and Country being chatted about, how parents and stuff like that.
The
And there's this,
Kennedys
that,
are
and the other.
nothing if
They,
not people of the people, Tom. Yeah.
exactly. And she asked, and they said, "Etting mad about your dad. He's a mad environmentalist. He's mad into Lebanon rivers, and he hangs around with ravens and stuff. What sort of a fellow was he growing up with?" And she basically went, "Oh Jesus, I remember this one time where now I need to get the. I'm trying to get. So it was basically he cut the head off a whale with a chainsaw." Now, he wasn't just driving around with the
Okay.
chainsaw. He's not a he's well, to be fair, I wouldn't hold that against him either. You could find any kind of machinery in the back of my car these days. So
Yes.
essentially, they were up at Hannisport where the Kennedys have their compound, a very famous compound, and they'd heard it's in Massachusetts
Again,
near
people of
Boston.
the people.
People of the people. Um, and they'd heard, listen, there's a dead whale below at the beach. And he went, by Jesus Christ, that's for us. Now we're heading, do you know what? We'll make a right job of this. We're heading up to New York, which is 4 or 5 hours away. We'll swing down by the beach and have a look at this fella. Lovely job, Dad. Goes down. Old Bobby jumps out of the back of the car, out of the car anyway, chainsaw. Now, I don't know if he wore protective eyewear, Jar. He may be like
All
yourself.
signs point to no, Tom.
He may be like yourself, right? Mad for safety. Um, and he basically took the head off. Now, it can't be the biggest whale in the world, right? I'm guessing, Lord knows what type of
I'm
whale.
guessing this isn't like a blue whale, right?
I'd go so far as to say, jizz, he'd need 2 cans of petrol to get through that anyway.
Right.
But I'm guessing this is some sort of a sperm whale or something. No, the sperm whales are huge too.
Sperm whales
I
are huge
don't
as well.
know.
You know,
I don't know.
like who the fuck knows, Tom? Like, but
Do you know
there's
what?
no such thing as a small whale. I'm
Don't
going to
get
tell
into
you
the
that.
semantics of the whole thing because the man is still cutting the head off a mammal with a chainsaw here, Jared. Let's not an aqua
Okay.
mammal. We'll say
So
okay.
this
Was
is a beached whale,
a beached
and he's
whale
like,
good for
I want the
nothing?
skull of that.
Exactly. Other people have done stupid things. Like there was a town that put dynamite into one. Do you remember that in America a couple of years
I do
ago?
remember that.
And they blew
I
it
do
up,
remember
and
that.
molten blubber fell everywhere for hundreds of meters around, almost like on like just insane. He decided, I want the skull of that thing. It'd be lovely. Not shy of stopping off for a dead animal. This is Bobby's thing, right?
I mean, this is his second in 10 minutes. Go
Yeah,
on.
chops the head clean off, and anyway, fair play. Got all the way through it. Must have been a decent saw now, in fairness. Bone is, I'll tell you now, Jer, know what I know. Bone, he wouldn't have any regular blade going through that now. He'd
Fair.
spent a few pounds on this saw. Strapped it to the roof of the minivan that they
How did
had.
he get it up there, Tom? How did he lift it up there?
Have you not seen the man do 20 pull-ups? Have you not seen him? He's 70 years of age and can do 20 pull-ups, Jar, with a bad shoulder.
But
I'll
Tom,
tell
like
you,
he's lifting the head of a whale. That'd be like lifting one of the Atlas stones. You know what I mean? That's just
but he's fit as a flea. Fit as a
all
flea,
right.
Jar.
Okay.
Jesus, I mean, the man,
Okay.
he brings a chainsaw with him everywhere. That's not some slob of a human, Jar. That's a man who's ready for action, right? So
And
just,
we'll give you some idea of the size of this. That even the smallest whale I can think of right now, Tom, is Free Willy, a killer whale. That's the smallest whale I can think of, and it's still bigger than the biggest cow I've ever seen.
yeah, and a cow's head is a fair old watch of a thing.
So
Um,
this is all right. Okay,
so
okay.
essentially,
Let's assume he's got some sort of whale winch with him. He gets it up on the roof.
it gets it up on the roof, and every time they accelerated on the highway, whale juice would pour in the windows of the car. It was the rankest thing on the planet, Keek said. We all had plastic pads over our heads and the mouth holes cut out. I'm not sure you understand the. Okay. And
So
so
they
a
made
car full of rubber bandits, essentially. Blind boy boat,
a car
boat
full of
clubs.
rubber bandits, right? So they made rubber bandits, balaclavas. You skipped one beautiful detail on that, Tom, that he attached the whale head to the top of the car with bungee cords, like you used to keep your school bag on the back of your bike.
You see, like, and why I gave right. So she continued. This was in 2012, but of course it's resurfaced now because you know what I mean. Whatever you did years ago, as soon as you put your hand up for,
Yes.
um, but he kept the whale skull and represents a significant ongoing. Yeah, I mean, it is a violation what he did, right? I haven't heard them question him about it because, and I told you the story. This is the only thing, right? I told you the story about the kid and the dad pissing in the bath.
Yes.
There's a few flaws here in this story by Kick. Now, she may remember it differently as a child. I don't know, right? But I wonder sometimes was she trying to hang him out to dry, and I'll tell you why. The bungee cords don't do it for me, Jer. If you're
The
going
bungee cords is
strapping,
where the story comes apart.
that's literally, and that's what would happen. They bungee for a fucking reason, Jer. They're for holding down an owl, whatever. But you're not going holding it, and like there's no loops on the head unless you went in through the eye sockets and went back under the car and dragged it over the top. That joke is coming off 3 feet up the beach. I'm telling you now, you need ratchet straps. You probably need a pallet to tie it down to up there. There's all sorts. The fact that it's a whale's head. I mean, we all think when we were small, our dad was Superman because he could
Yes.
crack 2 walnuts in his hand. I don't know any outlet that could catch the head of a whale that he just spent, let's be honest, an hour cutting through, bollocksed with a
Sometime.
saw, and just drag it up onto the roof of a car and then away up the road with him and our juice flowing out of it.
Well,
I don't know if
you
she
know
as
what,
mad as
Tom?
the outlet. I don't know. Was she just spinning fucking the wheels for the
I
crack?
will say, Tom, of everything you've told me this afternoon, it's the only story that has any sort of precedent because she wouldn't be the first Kennedy sitting in the back of a car with brain fluid all over her.
No, that's true. That's true.
And on that note, Robert F. Kennedy, we wish you all the best in your future endeavors, buddy. But Jesus Christ, Tom,
I like some parts of the stories. I do. I can see myself ending up accidentally in those scenarios. But also, if a friend of mine was telling me, "Here, I chopped the head off a whale and dragged it up the road," I go, "What the fuck did you do?"
look, Tom,
Surely some friend of yours in Hyannisport has a trailer. That's all I'm saying. Why would you put it on your roof?
About as near to that as I've ever got is one time I found the rim of a tire in a ditch and I took it home with me.
Yeah, done that.
That's as close as I can get there. All right.
I've done that. Yeah, I have done that. So yeah, I know. I
bolted it. I bolted it to the wall out here and I wrapped a hose around it.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that. I do remember that. And a great move. And that was your moment of environmental. Your environmental moment.
Speaking not whatnot. That's as close as I can get you to putting a whale carcass.
Speaking of environmental scenarios, I think it's time to have a Roger.
My attitude is don't start nothing. Won't be nothing.
There's a route to be had. I don't know how you're going to feel about this or where your stance on it is, but there has to be something done. There has to be something done.
Let's find out.
Like I said, environmental and falconry and all things ornithological.
Yes.
I'm having a cruel time. I'm having an absolute cruel time with them sparrows.
It's a cruel summer. What's eating you, Tom?
Dear, Jesus Christ. I dealt with the crows, right? And I know that sounds like I called in a mafia hit. I didn't. I just stopped them from coming into my house.
No questions asked there, Tom.
Yeah, good. Keep it that way.
Fair enough.
The sparrows are out of control. I like sparrows, right? They've got nice little smiley faces, but there's something wrong with these bastards. We have had to train all sorts of animals to kind of, I'm not saying change the environment. I'm not going to knock their nest or anything like that before anybody goes, please don't. I feel so strongly about sparrows. I like sparrows.
I like sparrows too.
For the love of all Jesus, what kind of bird cocks their arse out the side of their nest and shits? You fly, man. You literally have wings. Fly out of your own fucking inhabitant. You can, world is your oyster. Go shit on anything. They are shitting all over everything, Ger. Everything. They're flying in to shit on new things. I pick up a new hammer. They will shit on that and then fly back into their nest. And then
let me ask you a question.
Cheat at me like I'm the prick.
Let me ask you a question because it sounds to me like you're having sort of a mouse hunt time only with sparrows. Your new house that you're building has become infested with sparrows or sparrow-like birds.
Yeah.
And we know you don't shift a nesting bird. That's just one of them rules. But they're shitting everywhere, okay? I got to tell you, Tom, there was a sparrow's nest in the, what do you call the corner of the house where the fascia meets the eaves, the top?
Yeah,
what do you call it?
We'll call
the
it
gable.
We'll call it the apex for anybody who's wondering what bit of it, right? The pointy bit up the top.
The pointy bit up the top. And I remember my entire growing upness, there was also always a sparrow's nest there. And that side of the house looked like a scuttery arse. There was just
Yeah.
like a streak of bird shit
Yeah.
for 8 foot down from it. So I know exactly what you're saying, that they just stick the arse out the nest and poop down it. But Tom, beautiful. That's a bird's home up there, buddy.
Yeah. Now, that's all well and good. And I am environmentally friendly, whatnot. But
And
it will
compliant.
not work, Ger. And I'm pretty sure, even though I am quite isolated, my neighbours at some point, in some stage down the line, will have a problem if I start sticking my arse through my gate and shitting out onto the avenue outside. At some point, they're going to go, call the guards, call the doctor. That man has a problem. He needs an injection. Like
I
this
will
is,
say, yes, the behavior does not track over into humans. What
I
birds do, humans would not get away with. I will give you that much.
and the thing is, like they, I could nearly tolerate him all year round. Like you can tolerate your dog chewing up the skirting board, right? You go, yeah, but it's my
Fine.
dog. It's around all the time. These sons of bitches. I can't even grow to start to get involved and give them names because as soon as it gets a hint cold here, they up sticks and fuck off, leaving shite and nests all over the garage. You're like,
Yes.
lads, you can't even hang around to be. We can't. You haven't even tried to engage me as a friend. I've talked to you. I have gone up the ladder, and if anybody wants to have a look at my TikTok, I cannot believe how well this is done. I did not intend it. I literally went, "This is my life now." No hashtags. Took a 10-second video of me going, "Look at these 5 bastards," and not one of them has paid me rent. Of 5 little birds looking out of a nest at me. As of this morning, in 2 days, over 100,000 views, and everybody thinks
Holy
it's the loveliest thing ever. I'm like, what? These people, I could put up the greatest stand-up clip of all time that I've ever written. Wouldn't even come close. I put up that of these 5
I think
non-verbal bastards.
crowd work is where the numbers are these days, Tom. I understand.
Crowd work is my thing these days. It's my thing. These bastards are non-verbal. They didn't even speak. They just stared straight at me like I was dead to them. And lo and behold, what I should have done was point the camera straight down at the absolute scatfest. Like there was a pair of boots, Ger. They have to go in the bin now. There's no clean them. They shit inside, they shit outside. I didn't spot where I left them down Saturday evening. Went away after working all day. Went away off down to the other house. Came back Sunday. Scutter everywhere. Full, damn near full. These bastards. There's just...
You know what I'm going to tell you, Tom? I'm not going to have a row with you.
Okay.
Okay? But I feel your pain, buddy.
Okay.
I don't have a solution to offer you.
There's
You're
gotta be
kind of
one.
fucked. I'm
There's
sorry.
no, there's got people.
No.
There's got. Can I? Anybody out there? Can I buy a fake nest of theirs and just have it ready for me when these bastards show back up from South Africa? Do you know what they are? They're such South Africans. Actually, they're just storming in, going, "Aye, bro."
This could go either way, Tom. Yeah, go on.
Bro. I don't care. I've made my bed now, Ger, and that's where we're going. Bro. We've taken over. Oh shit.
They
Not
didn't even
again.
bring over
Not
any
again.
biltong or anything like that. Tom,
Please.
no, here's the thing. You can't do nothing about those birds. I wouldn't even talk about what you could do in theory in a public forum, such as podcast. They're there. I'm sorry, buddy.
But they're going to head off. Can somebody advise me? Can they be rehomed? Or can we put nappies? Can we train, like we've trained badgers now to walk through like tunnels under motorways. Badgers are like, all right, I don't want to get hit by a fucking car at 70 miles an hour. I'll go under that thing. Cool. Nice one, Badger. Well played.
I think about all you can do, Tom, is you can make your house sparrow proof with little gimmicks. For example, eventually in the eaves of our house, if that's what we're calling them, there's like a little spike you can put up there, and it's like on the face. There's like a little willy that hangs down, and they won't build up there.
Well,
you wouldn't build anywhere there was a willy hanging.
Do you know what? I've seen some of the shit that architects are suggesting people put in their houses nowadays, and you'd never know.
Or you can get the the seagull spikes. You can get seagull spikes that stop your seagulls from landing, and they make your house look like the Legion of Doom.
Gerry, I would have to turn the inside of my garage into Needlehead from Hellraiser for these bastards.
Yeah.
There is no place. They could literally move 4 inches to the side. No, these haven't picked a definitive apex like in the eve. They haven't. What they've done is they just come in and just said, "Well, we're just going on that ridge board up there. That's where we're going. We're going up on that ridge board, and yeah, we'll go anywhere else you don't want us. It doesn't matter. We'll just go around the other side of it. It's grand." So come the next month or so when they do, fuck off, back to down to South Africa, down for the sunshine and the big rugby and all the braai and all the bua stuff. When they head down there, I'm gonna make the places getting Fort Knoxed. And I'll put one up. I don't mind if they go to the outside of the garage. Work away, lads. Just stay out of the inside. Again, I wouldn't have minded had they come indoors. Wouldn't have minded. But they shit all over everything. I mean everything. Well, here's a hint of a shine of it. It's getting shit on. That's my issue. Nappies for sparrows, or I lock them out. One or the other. Learn manners. One or the other.
Well, folks, if you have a solution to Tom's sparrow problem, let us know on the social media channels. You can drop us a line at Tom and Gerry Show.
Yeah, after it with the Undertaker, Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm going to threaten him. I'm not going to do anything because I do actually like the little bastards.
If you folks have a solution to sparrows that is lead free, let us know at Tom and Gerry Show on Twitter or indeed Instagram. Or you can drop him a line directly at Tom_O'Mahony or indeed me at Gerry McBride. It'll get to him one way or another. And while we have you on the mention of the social media, we ran a poll this week. We ran a World Cup, if you will, Tom, where we found the Silage Rock band, Ireland's favourite Silage Rock band. And by Silage Rock, you know what Silage. You don't need me to explain Silage Rock to you, right?
Silage Rock for anybody south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Silage Rock for anybody south of the Pale there.
Yeah.
We whittled it down and it all boiled down. I'm not going to go round for round, but basically the semi-finals was Metallica against Guns N' Roses and AC/DC against Bon Jovi. AC/DC cleaned the floor with Bon Jovi. Sorry about that. 82% to set to 18%. Yeah, an obliteration.
But you can see Diesel and AC/DC go together, don't they?
Oh yeah. Bon Jovi were pretenders. That bore through the results.
Yeah.
Metallica and Guns N' Roses was a bitter fight, but eventually it came down 54-46 in Guns N' Roses.
Really? I had Metallica. Wow.
Yeah, that was tight. That was tight. So that left us with a final that we put up there on Sunday between AC/DC and Guns N' Roses. And it was not quite as tight, but there was 100-odd votes come in there, Tom. And it landed 60-40 in favor of AC/DC.
Yeah. It does, though.
AC/DC.
Do you know what I mean?
Ireland's Silage Rock band of choice.
Like, you can imagine 4 o'clock in the morning, you're firing up the tractor. Lads are probably just taking a swig of Red Bull or whatever it is that gets them through the day these days. And it's back in black. You know what I mean? Or it Hell's Bells. The bell goes
hand in hand.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You're greasing your nipples to the bell. Yeah.
If you dispute those results, sorry, that's democracy manifest. What do you want me to do about it? Okay, you should have voted more. Voted more often. How do you think the Kennedys got elected? All right.
There you go.
But let us know in the comments of the social media, or indeed, Tom, where else can they find us? Where else can they give out?
Well, they can give out like that if they come to us on social media. You can, of course, tag us. Screen grab. I would screen grab the listening of this, write your whatever you have to say in it, and tag us. Instagram is probably the hottest one at the minute. Well, I suppose Twitter is too, but for pictures and all the rest of it. But it's the Tom and Gerry Show. Gerry with a G, in case you you just get excited and go, I'm gonna put in Gerry with a G. Just
Oh, I'm gonna tell you one thing just before you go any further. I normally, if I say Gerry, I get Gerry with a J sometimes on my coffee cup. That's okay. I don't get too bent out of shape about it. I got Sherry today. Like Sherry Bobbins.
So you're back on the coffee?
More on that at a later date.
I thought he was in good I thought he was in good form, all right, people. I thought he was in good form. And if you would, please subscribe if this is your first time listening. You jumped on board because you saw Oasis / Bobby Kennedy's Whalehead.
Fucking horseshit we've just been talking about.
And Swallows, if that's how you ended up, you're like, Jesus Christ, I love these two boys. just hit subscribe on whatever platform you're on. If you can rate it, please do 5 stars, top of the pops. And if you can leave a comment, normally on Apple Podcasts, you can. I don't think you can yet on Spotify. I could be old. Somebody asked the other day, and I think it's only come right now. Somebody asked the other day about why we had an old logo up and the new logo is now showing on Apple Podcasts for some reason. If it isn't for you, just unsubscribe and resubscribe, and a new one will pop up in your feed. I don't know why it matters that much to you, but I am glad if it does, because it is a beautiful piece of artwork by the great and powerful Rob Steers. Hey, Ger, I'm just going to go out and maybe I could bring, like, I don't know, a religious man of some sort to bring out, somebody to do something with these sparrows. I want him to just start behaving. That's all. I like him. I like they got a bit of sass, but just the shitting indoors. Do you know? That's where I'm at.
I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Let us know how you get on with that. Maybe we'll find ourselves talking about it next week. But for this week, everybody, thank you very much.
Flip.